world and all who inhabit it. Hope you're having an absolutely lovely day. I'm Prismatic Pichu, and welcome back to another... Well, welcome back, anyways. So yeah, I've been missing in action for a while, mainly due to me screaming my head off about some other franchises I fell in love with over the past few years. But you know what they say, you can take the Pichu out of the Pichu, but you can't take the Pichu out of the Pichu. Anyways, bad idioms aside, Pokemon has pretty much been the epicenter of my gaming life ever since the 2nd grade, and there's really nothing in the world that's going to extinguish that love, let alone stop me from babbling about it on the internet. So while I haven't done a full-fledged video about Pokemon in a handful of years, rest assured that the passion is still going strong, and certainly strong enough to ramble on like an idiot for a solid 10 or so minutes. However, because it has been quite a while, I definitely wanted to take it slow, to maybe retrace some of my earliest YouTube steps, and use those earlier video templates as inspiration. Which brings me to the topic of this video. Taking a beloved character, claw machining them out of their universe, and plopping them into the wholesome world of Pokemon to see how they function as one of nature's pocket pals. It's a concept I've actually tackled twice before, when I was around 13 years old, so why not max revive that brilliant idea in the present day, especially when my love for other franchises has only burgeoned since. Now, in the past, I have bestowed this beautiful Pokemon merging opportunity upon both Kirby and... Tom Nook? Okay. So, with that said, it only makes sense to do another playful, cute, charming character that can, in 1 or 2 parallel universes from ours, be feasible inclusions in the Pokedex. A character who has pre-established magical abilities, unique features and gimmicks, and can overall adapt to the wholesome, carefree, loving biosphere that is the Pokemon world.
What the fuck?
Whoa, that's a human, first of...
Wrong, sir. Wrong!
Okay. Before there's any more interjections, let me at least attempt to explain. For those unfamiliar with Final Fantasy VII's lore, no worries. Sephiroth actually isn't a human, not fully. Kinda. He's a half-alien, goop, half-human, weaponized, hybrid man, creature fella. So, you know, it's not like I'm just picking any Homo sapien to yap about. Furthermore, yeah, we love Sephiroth in this house. And by that, I like Sephiroth. Just me, yeah. But you know what? He lives rent-free in my head, and it's my strange psyche making this video, so, you know, it's not like I'm to blame here. I do not control the hyperfixation. Also, in case I'm not too great at making it clear, these videos are not meant to be taken seriously, nor do I actually think post-Nibelheim Sephiroth should ever be near a Pokemon. Oh god! Anyway, I think that's enough backstory for now. Sephiroth, I cast you into the Pokemon world. But hey, it's not all that bad. You get to spend your days eating candy and Pokepuffs and encased in a little tiny sphere in a personal computer next to a forgotten HM slave, so it's all good. No hard feelings, right? I mean, it's not too different from the metaphorical chains Shinra had fettered around him, so our little 7-foot first class with a god complex should be golden. And with that out of the way, let's get into how this is actually going to work. Essentially, I'm just going to be analyzing Sephiroth through the lens of a Pokemon designer, throwing all logic out the window as I slap on all the qualities that your basic Pokemon has: type, ability, move pool, shiny, etc. Albeit aligned with what makes sense for Sephiroth here, through his various appearances and canonical abilities that I'm personally informed of. Sorry, Kingdom Hearts. Y'all got it? Sweet. Let's get started then with the type. First things first, let's get the obvious one out of the way. Dark. Which, unless you're a ghost or psychic type, I doubt you're gonna be opposed to. From sheer looks and color scheme alone, it's pretty clear that this alien man is the kind of fellow whose entire wardrobe looks like it was barfed on by a blooper, so we got no problems there. But, as I'm sure you've heard a million times before, the dark type is also known as the evil type in Japan, and, well, raising a nice little town, slaughtering its residents, calling upon a giant space rock to squish the entirety of humanity. Yeah, that's pretty bad, my man. Nice job, kill count's off the charts. Well deserved of the dark type. However, once we get to the second type, things get a little more sticky. at least in terms of how many options we have. One look at his aerodynamically illogical wing, and flying may seem like an apt pick, but think about how many flying types, especially the dragons, are able to fly without being weighed down by the element of air. And no, I'm not saying slap dragon on him, as sweet as it would probably be, sorry Hydreigon, you'll get a buddy of this dimension soon enough, but I just think we can do better. Sifting a bit more through my brain, my next pick was the psychic type, which pairs quite nicely with the evil, genetic, puppeteering abilities he got from Mumsy Dearest. I also entertain the idea of fire, with it being the iconic element in which he showers in, but it's not as if Nibelheim couldn't be toasted by any Pokemon using Inferno, and, landing it. There's also Steel, thanks to his armor and Baguette Long Masamune, as well as the fighting type thanks to his combat prowess. Poison could also work because of the whole plague summoning shtick in Advent Children, but Then there's Rock for the giant meatball he hurls towards the planet, I guess, if we wanted to take the coffee is technically and theoretically bean soup approach to logic. However, just when I started to contemplate the life choices that led me up to this moment, the perfect idea came. The most logical, inarguable type for Sephiroth. And that type is, wait for it, dark and...
Nothing! Now get out! What?
Yep, exactly. All the overthinking about which type to theoretically pair with the most obvious choice drove me to one conclusion. There is no type that can pair with dark, because dark itself is so soothing. Who knew? I mean, for a type that does embody all things monstrous and evil, as well as a bit of umbrage now and then, you can't really go wrong in leaving the evil type as is, left in its rawest, darkest, most unadulterated form to emphasize just how unabashedly evil Sephiroth truly is. We're talking about someone who grilled an entire village, possessed a horde of blobbish individuals so his tea party wouldn't be unoccupied, dialed up a meteor to pancake the planet, makes this face, and respawns some few years later in order to inflict a bunch of children with a deadly, flu-like, depression-laced pandemic, and oh my goodness, you're getting so much worse than a bunch of coal for Christmas, my friend. Jesus Christ. So, yeah, mono dark type it is. On to stats. I'd say it's pretty logical to conclude that Sephiroth, being the most beefed up soldier in his own universe, would be pretty darn strong when dimension hopping the Pokemons, with a definite emphasis on his strength and physical defense. Gonna give him a solid 135 in both, with the hefty 100 for his special attack to boot. So yeah, pretty legendary stats for what would likely be a legendary Pokemon, which gives me the freedom to make him zoom with a nimble 135 in speed and a decent 135 in HP, just to represent his sheer stamina and perseverance when it comes to clinging to the land of the living. Oh my Arceus, you may be saying now? Are you trying to blend the world's most overpowered, Oreo-colored Pokemon milkshake just for the sake of it? And to that I say, nope, not at all. Because when I tag on that meager 50 special defense, it leaves him with the same base stat total as Solgaleo. So, everything works out. But even so, why leave him with such an Achilles heel? Well, to mirror the games a bit, it was a mental existential breakdown that caused Sephiroth's cheese to fall off the cracker, so yeah, sorry pal. You're not fooling me with your death-defying willpower. This is Pokemon, and true power comes from love and friendship, not from blistering hatred that keeps you fettered to this mortal realm. Not to mention that's not your mother, idiot! As for the hypothetical ability and move pool, I imagine he'd be strapped with a signature, legendary, unique one, which is where me messing around in Photoshop for like 13 minutes 2 years ago finally comes in handy. Behold! So, based on my 16-year-old self's logic, Sephiroth's ability would be a new one by the grand name of Cellular Connection, which allows him to control the first move and direction of an opposing Pokemon, should they also be a Dark type. In other words, if this fella is facing a Scrafty, and that Scrafty has a handy Brick Break on it, then our Legendary would be able to force it to use Zen Headbutt instead, feel neither Zen nor a Headbutt, and then slash the poor thing in half like that one Arbok from the manga. A bit overpowered, just a bit, but I'd say it comes at the fair cost of being extremely predictable should you know Sephiroth is the one you're facing, and relatively easy to work around. Same kind of nerf as Reggie's slow start, just, you know, not crippling to its overall well-being. Moving on to his move pool, you'd definitely find yourself facing the classic dark type attacks. Night Slash, Dark Pulse, Foul Play, Memento, as well as being equipped with a whole arsenal of fire-type moves, blade-based attacks, all the wing things, and Draco Meteor just for good measure. Which then brings us to his signature move, Supernova, a 140 base power physical dark-type attack with 95% accuracy and the guarantee of causing one random status ailment to your Pokemon. Similar to how the attack functions in the original FF7. It's pretty much just G-Max Befuddle, except the status conditions range from poison to confusion to freezing, which is exchanged for the unpredictability, lack of control, and the unfortunate chance that one of the opposing Pokemon is just straight up immune to said status condition in the first place. How fun! As for some other details, I had dubbed Sephiroth as the downfall Pokemon. Yikes.
Once hailed as a hero, its mind is said to have shattered upon learning of the secrets that birthed it. Hatred is the only thing that remains in its heart.
Oof, morbid. It's like if Rayquaza just said, you know what? You know what? F this world and all you egregious humans. That's it. I'm out. I've seen too much of the internet. Meteor's hitting you next time. You all deserve it. What else? Oh, shiny. Gotta give him that red Genesis Rhapsodos coat. A nice little nod to Crisis Core, and hey, Crimson Shinies are my favorite. I'd personally hunt it, you know, if it wasn't shiny locked. Otherwise, I'd stop reset in front of his Malco Crystal in the Northern Crater, listening to the first 5 notes of One Winged Angel over and 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 over again until I feel like personally impaling my system and chucking it out the window. Woo! And yeah, there you have it. You can go ahead and cross Sephiroth as a Pokemon off your astronomically useless knowledge bingo card now. Full permission. Don't worry about it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope my shenanigans were able to bring even the slightest smile to your face. It was a blast to write this chaotic script, as was it to hop behind the microphone again. I'm not 100% sure what my next project will be, but there are indeed some dormant ideas cooking in the brain, so I will keep them safe and sound until they're ready. And with that said, my friendos, take care, be kind, and stay awesome.